Hi, how you doing? I'm A, and thank you for tuning in to A's Adder. Here, my plan is simply to have great conversations with great people. Hopefully, you'll be entertained, inspired, or educated. Even furthermore, hopefully all of the above. If you're a fan of the show, show me that you're a fan and hit subscribe. You better have done it by now. All right, cool. And without further ado, let me get into the show. Solo episode today. I'm back. Welcome, everybody. I promise I'm not going to do solo episodes for the rest of my life. I do actually enjoy communicating with other people, so I'm going to make sure I bring other people on. But I wanted to do another solo episode today because I'm going to be doing it more based on topics and kind of like my thoughts on them. So I'm going to be covering university. Don't worry, I won't be slating you. Shout out to my friends. I'm not going to slate all of you, I promise. University, death and grief. I know, a bit deep, but I want to get into it. It's been on my mind. And my changing taste in music and why I've changed my taste in music, or why I think I should change my taste in music. So first topic is uni. Let me get right into it. So obviously I am 19 currently, and I could have been at uni. A lot of people who are watching this will be at uni or will have been at least considering it. Maybe you came off a gap year or whatever it might be. It might be in your second or third year. University is a big part of anyone who's in their latter teens. So as I've said on previous episodes, I think I even said it in the last one, I elected not to go. So I applied when I initially was, coming to the end of sixth form or college, whichever. Obviously, that's what you do. You go through UCAS, you have your kind of, your personal statement, and you try and make yourself look as good as possible. So I did that, obviously, because I'm a legend. And I could have gone to a couple of universities that were actually pretty good. I wanted to do finance, but I think more specifically, finance is a bit broad. I'd say business management with a language. So I got into unis like KCL, Uni Liverpool. I'm in Liverpool right now. Shout out Liverpool. He likes that. Leeds as well, and Loughborough. I think there's another one because you have to apply for 5, but I don't remember which one it was. So at least those 4 there. And, from, I guess, popular knowledge, somebody would say they're all good universities, so I could have gone. But when I kind of went into it a bit more and realized that university isn't necessarily the only way forward, I decided not to go. Obviously, we live in a country or we're part of a culture where university is very prominent. You should be going or you should be doing X, Y, Z. But one of the main reasons I chose not to go is because, one of the many reasons is, funnily enough, although everyone, some people didn't say go uni, but most people who said go to university, don't actually inspire me. So no one I was inspired by actually went to university, which is quite interesting when I think about it, or at least most of them. My inspirations, I take inspiration from different people, and I'm not going to be somebody who just goes all in on one person, but especially people in business, because I would have done business management, it didn't make sense for me. If I wanted to do business management, I'd probably just try and run a business myself and then learn the lessons there rather than going to university and getting the academic side of it without any kind of practical experience. And when it came to learning languages, even right now, I'm learning French, and I've been doing that since year 7, but that was in school, obviously, from year 7 to 13. Now, when I'm learning French, I'm just doing it on my phone with Duolingo, which is an absolutely brilliant app, but they haven't sponsored me, so I'm not going to give them any more compliments. When it comes to university as well, one reason, like I said, nobody who's been kind of inspires me that I know of. Another thing that you uni people may kind of realize is that when you talk to other people about university, I don't actually know anyone who's said it was worth it, which is honestly crazy because the money that goes into it, again, debt is another reason, is a vast, vast, vast amount. Honestly, the only debt I want to have is a mortgage, to be completely honest, or a credit card, but you know what I mean, just so I can build up credit. But it's just an insane amount of money. You're looking at tens of thousands. I think even if you wanted to get a master's, it can even be a bit higher than that. Just to do something that you have regret that you did. It doesn't make sense. I don't want to pay tens of thousands of pounds, spend 3, 4, 5 years doing something that I'm going to regret when the 5 years are over. It might not necessarily be wasted time because, you get a degree out of it, but I firmly believe in doing something that you enjoy. So I'd rather not spend 5 years doing something that I'm spending a lot of money on, stressing about. You can try and not stress, but it will always be stressful. And everyone says it's stressful. That I'm going to stress about, I'm going to give a lot of my money to, a lot of my time to. Like I said, I'd rather, if I wanted to do business management, I'd rather run a business. If I wanted to do finance, I could go into an apprenticeship, which was the move I wanted to make. So when it comes to university, I really do think, not that it's pointless, that's a bit harsh. And that's not true. Because you learn a lot from being at university. I think you learn, funnily enough, it might be a crazy thing to think about, but you probably learn more to do with yourself than you do anything to do with the course. So the experience is better for you as a person rather than the experience of getting a degree. I mean, a lot of graduates now can't even find jobs. And how does that make any sense? I know people who are 23, 24 who might have maybe not a master's, let me not, over exaggerate the severity of the situation, but who have qualified very highly. They might have got a first or a 2-1, very, very good, qualifications and to get at university, very good degree level, and they can't find a job, even though they are to be deemed one of the best academically, knowledge-wise in that field or in that industry. And how does that make sense? And what's also interesting is that people nowadays, as in employers, not people, employers, they are looking for experience more than anything. So funnily enough, you can probably be somebody who finishes your A-levels, because they're quite crucial. Finish your A-levels, you go into an apprenticeship, and you do that for 3 years. Somebody has graduated, comes out after those 3 years that you've spent doing the apprenticeship, and even though they have maybe this much knowledge of the industry you're in, because you have those 3 years experience and probably some qualifications as well, you're better than them, which is kind of that's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense for me to go. It didn't make sense for people who want to do, I guess, not similar courses, but similar things to me. It didn't make sense that we'd go. A lot of my friends, funnily enough, have actually not gone. Maybe like 2 or 3 of my close friends are there. I know I got a friend who's doing a degree apprenticeship. That's a beautiful combination. If your parents really wanted you to go to uni, you could do that degree apprenticeship. You can get money whilst getting the qualification. And then you'd be better than probably both of those people I just mentioned, because you'll have the knowledge and you'll have the experience, and then you'll be the best person for any kind of role. So with university, it's really hit or miss. I'm going to say it. I really don't believe in going to university unless you know exactly what you want to do, which is very difficult for someone who's 18, 19, who is just trying to figure out who they are before they know what they're passionate about. You even know exactly, you have your vision clear, you're set. I'm going to do X, Y, Z so I can become X, Y, Z. These are the paths. These are people I'm going to meet. Clear vision, clear goal plan, bang, smash it out, 3 years, boom. I'm where I need to be from point A to point B. That's great. Or if you're doing degrees like medicine or anything science related, obviously like engineering, very, 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 very extensive knowledge required to do engineering. I don't have any of that. And you'd only get that, I believe, at university. Obviously, you can't be like a doctor apprenticeship. That's not possible. You need to know everything you need to know because there are practices you need to learn, the body you need to know inside out. And it's just very crucial you know these things. Or even another one is law, another industry. But even law has apprenticeships that are available. Not to be a lawyer, I don't think, because you still need to pass the bar and all that stuff. I don't know if it's called the bar in the UK. I know I've been thinking about suits, so maybe I'm saying the bar as in the UK version, the US version, sorry. But let's say the UK equivalent of the bar. You got to pass the bar exam and, become a qualified lawyer through, other parties rather than just uni. But even so, I would understand if somebody went to university so they could become a lawyer. Makes sense to me. Other than that, I really don't see it. Because, being a lawyer, being a doctor, being an engineer, anything like that, where you require a lot of knowledge, or someone who has, their visions and goals planned out. I don't really see the point of it for anybody else. And it's very, 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 very pressuring for someone who is 18, 19 to figure out what they want to do, likely to move out, and just kind of make a plan for themselves when in reality, they don't even know themselves anyway. So meanwhile, while somebody is in the rat race at university in a city that's, 100 miles away from their house, I'm here doing something that I love. I'm working. I'm also learning because I'm studying things that I have interest in, that have professional accreditation. And honestly, I firmly believe that me or anyone who does the same thing that I'm doing is going to be ahead in a sense, because you'll have the experience if you're working, you'll have the knowledge if you're doing professional qualifications, or you can chase your passion and see where it takes you. I think, or if you run a business, for example, you can see what lessons you can learn from that. And if you're an extremely good entrepreneur, you'll make it work. It's just, I firmly believe in university being crucial for some people, but not for all. Obviously, I'm not going to change the culture, unfortunately. I don't necessarily intend to change the culture about university, otherwise everyone would be in the same boat. And that makes this game much more difficult for me. I would rather have a smooth sailing win. So those are my thoughts about uni. You know, I even heard Jordan Peterson, world-renowned clinical psychologist. Me and Luca spoke about him in our episode. Watch that episode here. I'm going to put it in the edit. He said, and I quote, I might be misquoting. He said that university is a socially accepted reason to leave home and be independent whilst apparently making progress. Now, when I heard him say that on a podcast, I just thought, wow, because for a lot of people that I know, and I'm not trying to slate anybody because I'm not perfect and I know that. Believe me, I know that. But I'd rather see people happy doing what they enjoy than just doing a degree for the point of it, or because their parents said so, because your sixth form teacher said that you'd be good at this and you didn't know any better, so you did it. I just think people need to figure out what they want to do before they start making crazy expenditure for themselves on something that they don't even really care about. So those are my thoughts about uni. Those are the exceptions I was thinking about: law, engineering, anything like that. Or if you have a vision, clear vision, you know, it's just, you just got to think more long-term, really. If uni's your aim and, you know, your family wants you to go and you want to go, then it's a win-win. But I think people need to, before you make any rash decisions that are going to dictate how you spend the next 3-4 years, definitely give it some time and thought. And if you're at uni now, I'm not advising anybody to drop out. I would never, ever, ever advise anybody to do that. But at least make the most of it, because you don't want to be 22, 21, which anyone who's my age is going to be 21, 22 in 2-3 years. But we don't want to be that age and thinking, why the fuck did I spend 3 years in that shit city doing fuck all? You know, explicit, but you get the memo. All right, cool. Next topic I wanted to touch on was death and grief. Now, best way how can I word why I want to talk about it? It's been on my mind. And to be quite frank with you, death is very scary, whether it's my own or whether it's to do with the people around me. I know we all have people in our lives who we care about. At least I hope so. Otherwise, that's a very, 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 very depressing life. I think it'd be it's a shame for me, it's kind of bad to think about what could happen to people. And I don't really like to spend time thinking about these endless possibilities of, what if X happens to them, or what if Y happens to me? Because if I dwell on negatives, then my life's going to end up being negative. I'll have no motivation or discipline to do anything good for myself, because I'll just be thinking of all the potential bad things that can happen. And that is not how I want to operate. And that's not how anyone else should operate. Think positively. Different topic, but you get the memo. But I was thinking about death and grief just because there was somebody who has passed away recently, not as necessarily close to me, but that I know of. And it just had me thinking, you know, all these questions, like, you know, where do we all, you know, the typical questions, where do we all go? What's life going to be like? How many people are going to come to my funeral? How am I going to find space for everyone at my funeral? Wherever it might be, anything like that. And I've lost somebody recently, well, I'd say a year ago, who was very close to me. And that was my first kind of loss personally that hit me hard. I've been fortunate for the first 19 years of my life, or 18, sorry, because I was 18 then, to not have to deal with anyone being lost from my family or my family friends. But obviously it's inevitable, you know, to dust we shall return, right? So very, very good member of the family, I'd say family anyway, family friends, but tied in, passed away. And honestly, it is some of the hardest shit to deal with. You know, personally, I'm someone who thinks a lot about what people have done for me. And if someone shows me respect or offers like a nice gesture or anything like that, does anything giving their time or effort for me in any kind of way, however minor it may be, I just remember it because I want to find a way to repay them back. And I think the main reason that I wouldn't say I'm not going to be over someone's death, but the reason I've maybe not moved past it is because I just think in my mind, how can I repay this person for everything that she's done? Because this person has a hand in my upbringing because she was there for me when I was young. You know, family, friends, you see them, you visit, you have those moments, you share those memories. And funnily enough, I'm a Christian, so let me explain. I'm a Christian Catholic, so I go to mass and every Sunday, Sunday church. And the priest at the mass was talking about it, I think last Sunday, and he said, let me make sure I say it right. It's in my book. Let me not just try and base everything off memory. He said, what a blessing it is to have loved someone so much that the grief that you feel is the price that you pay. So when he said that, it really hit me because, like I said, I'm not necessarily over the passing of my family friend, but there is comfort in that statement, I think. I think it's better to look with fondness on your memories with people and not dwell on the fact that someone's lost. I feel, no one is going to be good at handling someone being, someone dying in their life, especially someone important, especially if it's like a parent or something like that. That's a feeling that I can't even begin to comprehend. And it's easier said than done, but looking with fondness upon your memories and trying to honor those memories and that person through what you do and the actions you take after they're gone, I think is the best way to handle it. Grief is never easy, but all I think about when it comes to how I lost my family friend is, let me try and set up the life that I know she would have wanted for me. It's just crazy to think, you can have all this time with somebody and before you know it, in the blink of an instant, something happens, something's gone. And it's cringe. And I said this in the last solo episode, what I say might be cringe, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. You can't appreciate what you have properly until it's gone. So just do the best you can while it's still here. Whether it's your life, someone else's life, shelter, water, food, There are people on the other side of the world who have absolutely nothing. And we'll be here contemplating about something that's like Luca will like this, a champagne problem. He kind of gave me that phrase, so shout out to Luca. He said, champagne problem. It's problems that other people would love to have. And of course, we haven't got an insight into how poverty is really, especially on the other side of the world, in Africa, Asia, even in our own kind of areas. Even Liverpool and Manchester have a lot of homeless people, for example, or a lot more nowadays that I'm seeing anyway. We haven't got an insight into their lives. So it's hard to kind of sympathize or empathize with people who are in those situations. But honestly, appreciating what you have and knowing that it can be taken away just that quickly is the best way of making something good happen for yourself. Because if anything, that should give you motivation to work hard. And losing my family friend gives me motivation to work hard. And every day just comes into my mind at least once or twice. I'm not saying that I cry every day, but it just kind of flickers like a switch in my mind. It's like, oh, right, let me use that, tap into it, and just keep going on the path that I'm going for. And even in relation to myself, I don't know when my time will be up. And because this is a very kind of personal topic, it's kind of difficult for me to even speak about, just because I kind of fear for myself, these are them late night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. thoughts. Even though I have a great sleeping schedule, when I do sleep past 10 p.m., past my curfew, I'll have these thoughts. And it's just, these are the intrusive thoughts people talk about. Yeah, I can't imagine, or I don't want to imagine a time where I've not done everything that I want to do and I can't do it because, something happened to me. So again, motivation in that as well to just keep going as hard as possible. You know, I know a lot of you will have dreams and goals. You know, you got to find any way you can to tap into them. And I feel like the ever unknown, you know, aspect of life, you know, the beauty is that we don't know when it ends. And, you know, sometimes I write these like poems on Instagram where I'll talk about, you know, life and time. And those are the intrusive thoughts that the ones that I'm bringing into the world just so I can talk about them, because I think it's important. I think it's imperative to know that everything's limited. You know, your time is limited, but your effort is unlimited. It's unbounded. You can put in as much time and effort as you want into things, which kind of relates to, like I'm saying, making the most of it. And back to the uni topic that I just spoke about. It's every minute of your time in the best way possible. Again, it's like a cringe entrepreneur, them like hustle videos you see on TikTok. You just got to use every minute of your time. And I'm realizing that more and more as time goes on. This is me appreciating the time that I have now, that I need to do certain things within this time so I can create a certain kind of life for myself that I know I'll be proud of, my family will be proud of. Even I'm going to include my friends and my family. Just my family will be proud of, and people who I've lost will be proud of. Because you have no idea when it is your time. And the biggest regret, Dylan said this on the other episode. I'm going to put a link to that one right here. Editing. He said his biggest fear was not maximizing his potential. And I said to him on the episode that I completely relate and understand that, because that is also my biggest fear. And to add to it, if I don't realize my potential, you may have died anyway. Because what have you really done? You know, what have you... And I'm saying, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that after this podcast, I'm going to go run 24K and I'm going to do 1,000 press ups and then I'm going to bang out 15 more episodes. You know, I haven't got the body, time, effort, money for any of that. So I'm just going to try and do the best I can. And every day you should be doing the best you can, whether it's learning something new, whether it's appreciating your family or spending more time with them in any kind of way. You know, maybe I'm rambling a bit just because I'm kind of in my feelings right now, but honestly, fear of being nothing is what keeps your boy going. And hopefully you guys can understand that. I know a lot of my friends will understand that. You know, they thank God, you know, I thank God for every single one of them. And, you know, God's plan, if anything should happen to any of us, you know, you've got to trust in a higher power. But they get it as well. You know, I see a lot of my friends who nowadays are putting in work, putting in effort, and it makes you smile because I feel like we're all on the same wavelength. So I'd also say surround yourself with people like that as well, because it's going to just keep you on the right, you know, on the, what's it called? The straight and narrow. It's a saying I've heard. You want to be kept on the straight and narrow as much as possible. Maximize your potential, see what you can do. You never know what you're capable of until you go all the way. And I'm someone who's going to try and go all the way. And I suggest you try and go all the way too. Lovely. Last topic I wanted to touch on was music. Now that let me just shake off the feelings real quick. Music. So, if you know me, you will be aware that I listen to music. So, in recent times, or in the past couple of years, maybe up until about, let me check, let's say, as if I don't know the date, it's like 9 days till I'm 20. But yeah, let's say up until about the last 3 months. So from when I was maybe 16 to about the last 3 months. If you see me with earphones in, I'm telling you now, it was Drake, Gunna, Lil Baby, Future, anything to do with Metro Boomin, 21, all of these motherfuckers who everyone is aware of. You know their existence. Whether you like them is another story. I know a lot of you who are friends of mine, you know, we have similar music tastes because we're similar personalities, similar people. So you'll know I listen to those people. And don't get me wrong, before I even say what I'm going to say, their music is brilliant. It is great. It sounds sonically chef's kiss, perfect. Here comes the but. Recently, I've been thinking about what I'm consuming. So when it comes to social media, it comes to music, podcasts, because obviously if I'm doing one, I should be listening to them, and I do. Podcasts, what else can one consume? Whatever I'm reading, whoever I'm talking to, what I see. I think it's all very, very important. You know, your environment, you know, I read in Atomic Habits about your environment, and it needs to be primed in order to make you form those good habits that you want to form. to make yourself into a better person so you can do X, Y, Z and create that beautiful snowball effect. So when it came to my environment, I think I had a light bulb moment. Why am I listening to these men talk about shit that I wouldn't even do? Like, me, Mr. Prepared, right? I've just screenshotted some songs that I've recently played and like the lyrics. Because when I say it, I'm going to say it in a drab way so you guys understand the gravity of what I'm trying to tell you. So, one song that I love, Superhero, Future, Metro, off the new tape, which is the Superhero or Heroes and Villains tape. I love that tape. That tape is sick. About 15 songs on there, 14 of them are hits. I was listening to Superhero. I think this was the one actually where I had the light bulb moment. Oh no, it was before then because that only came out recently. Light bulb moment where I'm thinking, what are these guys saying? So, here's a subsection of Future's verse. It says, candy in the cup, gotta get paid, king of the streets, young nigga made, spraying up the crowd, take it to the grave, ain't having problems, I'm sipping the bar, shout out to Dallas, my bitch is a star, nigga get rich, better take it to war, piss on your casket, shoot at your broad. Now, when I think about this stuff, I'm not going to be spraying up no crowds, I am not going to be pissing on no caskets, I'm not taking nobody to war, I ain't going to call my girl my bitch. None of this stuff is in line with the personality that I want to create for myself. And obviously, I know what you're thinking. Amori, or A, I've just told you my real name. Amori, it's just music. It's not that important, it's just for energy or anything like that. You can play it at the gym, you can do with it. It just sounds good. I don't want to risk anything. I don't currently think that I've got ops who I need to kill. I don't currently think that I'm going to spend money on strip clubs, throwing wands and girls shaking ass and stuff in my face. I don't think that I'm going to take drugs. I don't think that I really want to sip lean. I don't. It's horrible for your health. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't understand why I was listening to this stuff when it had nothing to do with anything positive that I wanted to curate within myself or cultivate within myself. Why am I listening to this stuff when it has nothing to do with me as a person? Because it sounds good. Like, that didn't make any sense to me. I understand it maybe for gym and for other types of music, if you're playing R&B or something, you want to get your sadness out, if you're playing your sad songs and get your emotions out. Honestly, for me, that makes perfect sense. But I wouldn't want any aspect of my mindset to change or stay the same because of what I'm hearing. And, I'm going to read some more. Back Outside Boys by Drake. Off Her Loss. Another brilliant tape. I do like this music. Don't get it twisted. I like this music. Back Outside Boys. Here's a subsection of the lyrics. I spent days in the East trying to figure if I'm geeked. This bitch tweaking. Talk too much while I was geeked. Blew my peep. Fucking rap niggas hoes. I'm on the street. This shit's sweet. I went $500,000 on rosé. Did $4 million on my ice. I am never gonna spend millions of pounds on jewelry. I'm never gonna be fucking XYZ people's. I'm a very, I'm not a cheater. You know what I mean? This is not stuff that I want to endorse myself. Why am I listening to this stuff? So obviously this begs the question, okay, what are you listening to, Amor? Are you listening to Beethoven? What's in your eardrums? So like I said, I listen to podcasts. So I've kind of swapped out a lot of the music. So a lot of the hours I would spend listening to music, I've swapped with podcasts. I need to learn how these guys become so professional. Even though currently I'm, swearing up a storm. That's not very professional, but you get the memo. And with the other music is what I've kind of swapped it with. So recently I've taken quite a liking to the likes of Kendrick Lamar, Dave, UK obviously. Shout out, Dave is, incredible. Kendrick Lamar, Dave, Jid or JID. Who else? You got J. Cole. Who else am I playing nowadays? There are some Drake songs that don't have this kind of vibe. More time the older ones, like Pound Cake, for example. Pound Cake with Jay Z. Just because some of you might not know who Jay is. Just motivational. Great track. I don't think anything in there is going to kill my mind, But this stuff, like, what is truly the point of listening to this stuff? These tapes sound great, but honestly, subconsciously, I don't want to be affected in any kind of way, in any kind of negative way, or I don't want to be complacent in any aspect of my growth. And maybe I'm being far-fetched or paranoid, but I guess what we'll find out in like 5-10 years. And I'll say, listen, you didn't make it because you listen to music. Like, you know what I mean? I just think it's very important to be aware of what you're consuming. And I spoke about music, but even Instagram, that's kind of more understandable, I guess. If you're listening, you'll be like, okay, I understand Instagram, but I don't understand the music. But I'm just obsessed with, or I'm trying to be more obsessed with making sure that I'm going to be sweet in 5-10 years. And I'm not going to play this music for my son or my daughter. They will never hear these words. Not because they swear. I don't really mind about that, because if they swear in front of me, then there'll be trouble. But I would happily play Jid, Kendrick, who else? J. Cole, Dave, happily. Because they have a beautiful balance of creating a hit sonically, instrumentation, mwah, kind of flows, mwah, and then lyrically combining it with that sonic kind of vibe. Lyrically being sound, clear, motivational, not toxic in any way. I don't want to have any kind of toxic mindset, no matter what I'm consuming. I'm not going to watch a TikTok that, you know, trumps up or kind of promotes violence or cheating on your girl or taking drugs. None of this shit is for me, bro. Like, none of this shit. You got songs like Dave has Mercury, my 19th birthday, Psycho, Environment, storytelling, bars, information about his life that you can relate to. And sonically, top tier, because he is top tier. Kendrick, name a tape, name an album that you can hate on, you know? And Jid has very, very recently been getting popular. And The Forever Story, amazing album. Storytelling, flows. If you like rap, you should like the album. If you don't, I'll give you £1. You know what I'm saying? It's a great album. So when it comes to what I'm consuming, I've adapted it to make sure that I'm going to be okay in future. Now, maybe like I've said, you're going to think that I'm crazy, but like I said, chat to me in 5 years and we'll see who was really crazy. Because I promise you, it's not going to be me. And it might not be because of the music, but honestly, everything you consume, we don't even know how the brain completely 110,000% works. You know, people are still making discoveries in terms of how hormonal function operates and, you know, other kind of things that I have no information about because I'm not in that field. But we're still learning about the brain. So I'm honestly, like I said, trying to be obsessed with making sure that my different parts of the brain, I was going to name some, but let me not sound like an idiot on the camera, that my brain is going to be in the best shape. You know, I want to make sure that I'm in the right mindset to do everything that I need to do. And funnily enough, I think listening to certain tracks like that, because don't even get me started on drill, because if you know me, you know I hate drill, because I just hate hearing violent shit. If I ever needed to be aggressive and violent, you know, that's a different story, but not just pointlessly, bro. I'm not going to talk about chinging anybody up. And then you hear 15-year-olds and 12-year-olds talking about chinging people up. Like, bro, like, why? Why? I mean, I get if you grow up around that stuff, of course you'll have a kind of desire to just kind of be like those people you see. Maybe they inspire you, whatever. But looking at it from a purely objective view, and well, can I be purely objective? That's a different topic because I have my own biases. But looking at it objectively, it doesn't bode well. And I'm trying to make sure I bode very well in every kind of way. On that note, I want to say thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. I appreciate every single one of you. These solo ones are going to be a little bit shorter just because I don't want to sound like I'm talking for England. I would never want to represent... No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I don't sound like I'm talking for England. We're on to my guests. We'll always be around 35, 40 minutes. Sometimes we'll go over. We'll see how the conversation goes. But yeah, like I said, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Solo one, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, if you're a fan of the show, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit subscribe here. For some more content, go here. I'm going to put this in the edit and it's going to look so cool. Anyways, peace. See you guys soon.